How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Trades and Grades YouTube channel. I'm No Right. We're doing a little live stream here tonight, a little startup draft. It's January. We're already getting into the startup drafts, and NFL football is not even over, but it doesn't matter. We're ready. We're ready for it. Ready for the itch. Hopefully, I don't start too many more dynasty leagues. I've been thinking about maybe starting up a Trades and Grades dynasty league. If you guys would be interested in that, go ahead and leave a comment in the chat, and maybe if we get enough people, we'll start up our own dynasty league. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'd enjoy that quite a bit. So I don't have anybody tonight other than just going against ADP. Let me throw it up here on the screen. So it's going to go pretty quick, but it's a good way of showing, I think, where ADP is at right now, how you can use that to your advantage. And we will continue to try and do some of these at least once or twice a week and see how the ADP changes over time. And, there's nothing like a little startup draft action. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put this on, see if I can share this on Twitter with the rest of our crew and see if we can get some more people on here. I know it's late for some people. It's just the best time I can do it. Busy all the time. So anytime I can get, usually I'm making my Dynasty content late at night. This is what I got. So throwing it out there for you guys. But let me get this put on Twitter, and then we'll get this started with our startup draft. It's against a bunch of robots, just the way it is. Maybe we can get, I'll put it perhaps in the comments. If you guys ever want to join one of these, please let me know. Go to one of our latest videos. I don't know if you can put comments in this video, but if you ever want to join a startup draft, like a mock startup draft, go ahead and let me know, and we will see if we can get a couple people together and do a full one. I feel like that would be pretty enjoyable. So, okay, let's see if I can't post this on Twitter, and we will get started. Not exactly the best technology. Okay, so go ahead and start this off. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead, put them in the chat. Any dynasty questions, trade questions, rookie questions, rookie values, startup questions, anything at all. And I'll try to answer them as we go along, but we'll go ahead and start this draft up. Should be going pretty quick. Like I said, 30 seconds here. And I might pause it here a couple times just to talk about it. I don't know if it's going to let me pause it or not. Should be able to. Right now, I guess this is one QB. So I don't know exactly. This is crazy how ADP is. That's insane. That many running backs. This is one of those things where it's like, this is never going to happen. The fact that this is even here. I know this is one QB. A lot of people do super flex, but the fact that this is here, this is why we need real people, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. Never going to happen. But it's one of those things. It's fun to do, though. It's fun to do. Okay. So we got Jamar Chase. I am not huge on picking. There we go. We can pause draft. Okay. I'm not huge on picking running backs early. I like to build through wide receivers, young wide receivers, that is. We're looking at the board here. We see Saquon, Travis Kelce in the first. This ADP is crazy. Najee Harris going off in the first round. One of those things, never going to happen. This is one QB, but never going to happen. I'm just looking through this board here. The first couple picks make sense. Dalvin Cook at the 106. That's just crazy. I don't even know where they're getting this ADP from, because that's just terrible. This will get better and better as we go on throughout the spring and when the rookies start popping up. But yeah, yikes, that is bad. So we're sitting here, and we're pretty much picking between what top running backs we want, right? Because we've already had a bunch go off the board. And then do we want to build through the wide receivers? Quarterback, this is a 1 QB. Looks like a 1 QB. No, it's super flex. Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to say, I put super flex in there. I don't really know why. I guess these robots don't understand this is what super flex is. Maybe I should have made it more specific in there. At any rate, first one of the year, we'll get this fine-tuned so that we know what's going on next time. But as of right now, we're just going to pretend like it's a 1 QB league because that's apparently how this ADP is being drafted. So we're going to go with AJ Brown just because I guess I got to unpause it. We're going AJ Brown because that's just a ridiculous start. You got Jamar Chase, got AJ Brown. That's 2 top 5 dynasty wide receivers right off the bat there. And I am more than happy with that. Kamara going in the second round, just never going to happen. This is why we need real people in here. Breece Hall going there after all these guys is ridiculous. All right. I'm just going to say something right now. Breece Hall, it goes, my opinion, if we're going to talk about dynasty running backs, my top rankings, Bijan's number 1. Made a video about it a couple weeks ago. You guys can go look at the video. But Bijan's going off number 1. You can split hairs, but essentially, I would take Bijan 1, but I wouldn't be upset if someone had Jonathan Taylor. Breece Hall's also that consideration. I think those 3 guys are up there in that tier. It's close. We haven't seen what Bijan's done yet, but it's close. Breece Hall is going ahead of all these guys on the board so far, except for JT. And McCaffrey, you could make an argument, but I would disagree with it. Okay, so we're sitting here. A lot of running backs have gone off the board. Again, guys, this is just something fun to do. This is like almost not serious at all. If we want to get something serious, we're going to get some people together and have a real mock draft. So maybe I'll put it on Twitter, see if someone wants to join a mock draft. We'll do one. If you guys want to do a mock draft, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so we're trying to figure out here. Running backs, wide receivers. We're going to pretend this is a 1 QB league, so I'm not really caring about QBs that much. Still putting on the board. Tight ends. Kelsey's off the board. Andrew's off the board. We're going to wait and see if my guy's going to be there in the next round. If so, that's going to be an absolute steal. So, you know what? None of these guys stand out to me a ton in terms of running backs. I like Travis Etienne. We're going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Of course, got to unpause it. Got to go Amon-Ra St. Brown there. Another, I think, probably top 10 dynasty wide receiver at this point. And so that feeds right into Jared's question. Jared asks, what do you think it's worth giving up to get Amon-Ra St. Brown in a 1 QB start 8-12 team league, the 104, the 110? So start 8. I'm assuming that's 1 QB, 2 running backs. That's 3. Couple wide receivers, tight end, 2 flexes. Yeah. So that's what my home league is. Exactly that, actually, except for ours is 10 team. So I think, and what's interesting about that is a lot of our players, or a lot of the picks in that league rather, are worth a lot more than other leagues I'm in. Super flex leagues that depth is key. I think that in a 1 QB, the 104, I think that's probably appropriate at this point in time. If you can get Amon-Ra St. Brown, or if you can get Amon-Ra St. Brown for the 110, that is a fantastic deal. Fantastic deal. I would do that easily. The 104 is probably appropriate. I think when it's all said and done, it's probably going to go Bijan, Gibbs, Jack Smith, and Jigba are going to be neck and neck. I think some people are going to take Jack Smith and Jigba 102. We still have the combine, so we'll see how they test out. But that's probably where I'm going to have them. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown a lot. So I think he's proven it. I think Jack Smith and Jigba is going to be a stud as well. But basically at the 104, if you can get Jack Smith and Jigba, you're just hoping he be Amon-Ra St. Brown, which I think he will be. I think he'll probably be better, but we don't know that for sure. He hasn't played in a year. I'm not going to discount him because of that, but still something to think about. Okay, look at the draft here. Running back wise, yeah, I mean, this is just kind of silly, really. This is never going to happen in your startup drafts, but again, something fun to do. And we're going to go ahead and unpause this draft so we learn for the first 3 times, and we're going to pick Kenneth Walker. What a team this would be, huh? If we could actually get this in a real draft. Holy cow. That would be insane. Cam Akers in the 4th round, James Conner in the 4th round. That's just stupid. Man, I wish they'd fix this ADP. Now we know. Now we know. Okay. What do we got in the wide receivers here? I mean, seriously, this is just like, go ahead and pause this real fast. Now, here's what's going to be interesting. And this is another, even though this draft's kind of jacked, this is going to be fun to talk about because it does provide talking points right here, right? We have Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown, Garrett Wilson. Those 3 guys. Those guys are very close. And Garrett Wilson had a fantastic rookie year. Appreciate the love, Jared. Thank you. But he had a fantastic rookie year. Terrible quarterback situation. He's a dog. Hollywood Brown, top 6 wide receiver. I think he's wide receiver 6 in points per game until he had the injury in week 6 or 7. I don't think that they're going to have DeAndre Hopkins. He's tied to his quarterback he had in college. Fantastic. Cardinals are kind of in some turmoil right now, but it is what it is. Devontae Smith, fantastic year. I think wide receiver 9 on the year, just balling out. Eagles supported 2 wide receiver 1s. It's Super Bowl or bust for them. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to go with the guy who, oh man, this is tough. But I'm going to go with the guy who I think is the wide receiver 1 for the class of 2022. It's the guy who I had, if you go back and look, when we started this channel back in April, we came out with pre-draft rankings. Go watch those if you haven't. The editing, first off, they're really long. We started making this podcast. I've now turned it into a YouTube channel, but the episodes are long, but you get to see where we hit, where we didn't. And that's what I like about having videos uploaded, even though they're older and then the thumbnails are terrible and like whatever. They're a little tough to watch, but I want everyone to see what we hit and what we miss. And that's why I like to keep those videos up there, because I want accountability. And I also want to be, helping everybody here in the chat and whoever watches our videos. So after all that being said, we're going to go ahead and pick Garrett Wilson. But Hollywood Brown, Devontae Smith, still really good there. Oh, and then I completely forgot about our guy. I mean, this will never happen, I don't think, in a startup draft. Kyle Pitts going at 5'10". If I can get Kyle Pitts in the 5th round, that'd be insane. I would love it. But, he's probably not going to be there at that point in time. So, looking at the running backs, I'm not huge on any of these guys. Probably going to punt there, and I'm going to pick my guy. Gotta pick my guy. First off, I'm a homer, right? Bears fan through and through. Gotta pick Justin Fields. I'm not going to apologize for it. Interesting pick here with Calvin Ridley in the 7th. I think it's a guy you got to keep your eye out for going into this year. Calvin Ridley. Trevor Lawrence has looked really good this year. I think he's finally taking that step up, and I am interested to see how that Jacksonville offense evolves as we go into next year, because they have those guys there. They have Christian Kirk. They paid. Evan Engram is pretty solid this year. Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, Zay Jones was not bad at all. Then you get Calvin Ridley. So their offense is looking pretty solid for this year. Okay, so now we say here we already have a quarterback. Do we need a tight end? Tight ends are already off the board at this point. You might as well just punt. No point in picking a tight end now unless you get a top guy. Now, here's an interesting look at TJ Hockenson. We're looking at tight ends real quick. TJ Hockenson going off there in the 5th round over Kyle Pitts. Now, again, it's all based off ADP. That is interesting to me that the ADP is off by that much, because I'm taking Kyle Pitts over George Kittle. That's crazy. Again, we're going to need some more people in the chat to join these if we want to be super realistic. But at any rate, it's still fun to talk about players for me to be like, okay, who do we want here? So I don't really care about building a roster that much, just because it's been super jacked. But kind of looking at running back here, tough to say. I don't like any of these guys towards the top. honestly, at this point, you're just hoping you have a rookie pick, right? You just hope you have a rookie pick and you're getting a running back from that rookie pick. That is at least somewhat solid because none of these guys really do anything. So I'm gonna take a high upside pick. A guy that was older coming out of the class of 2022, but I still think was decent. Do I go with the guy who has no competition? Nope. You know what? We'll go with Rashad White. I like Rashad White a lot. Lenny's pretty much on the way out, I think. I know they have money tied to him, but he's getting older. He's getting up there. Rashad White looked pretty good this year. In the times that he got him, I was going to go for James Cook. Didn't. It's kind of a toss-up, but Rashad White it is. So we're sitting here, a couple of running backs off the board. Still don't have a tight end. Nobody here is really speaking to me. I don't really care for any of these tight ends all that much. There's one guy that I do like, but I think it might be a little bit of a reach to get him. Look at the wide receivers here. That is tough. There's a couple guys I like, right? We're looking at Jameson Williams, pretty good ADP there. We're looking at George Pickens, not the biggest on him. I like Burks. I think Treylon's a good. I'm going to put out a video on Friday. All right. If you're watching this, you're going to sneak peek. Friday, I'm going to come out with a video, and it's going to be top 3 rookies that underperformed this year that I'm buying this offseason. All right. And I'll probably show some. I probably should show some trades that I can find through the Dynasty Nerds Trade Finder. If you don't know what that is, I've talked about some on previous videos. Go look at my videos in the comments or in the description. I'll have a link, 15% off Dynasty Nerds. Basically, you type in anybody's name, any player's name, you can find every trade that's ever happened, whether it's on Sleeper, MFL, whatever. It really helps figure out, okay, what can I get this guy for? What's he going for, right? So I'll go look at some trades that have happened for Treylon Burks when I talk about him in this video. But sneak peek, I think that's going to be one guy that I'm looking to buy this offseason. So if we're looking through here, who would you rather have? Burks, Pickens, Jahan Dotson's a good name, James Williams, all these rookie wide receivers really pretty solid. It's such a tough pick there, really. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I think it'd be easier if this is a super flex, but there's none of these guys. You know what? I'm going to go with the guy who showed the most, and that's Jahan Dotson. Man, I'm afraid to freaking pause this every time. Okay, Jahan Dotson here. Over guys like Burks and Pickens. Could be a mistake. But I feel like he showed a lot. Even though he's got McLaurin there, long term, I like him. I like him a lot. He's got great hands. Okay, didn't even matter because Pickens is still there. I am looking at running backs real quick. Brian Robinson. None of these guys are speaking to me. I mean, none of these guys really at all. We're going to go ahead and pick up George Pickens. Again, guys, if you're just joining, this is just something to do. We're looking at what the ADP is right now in Sleeper. It's pretty wonky, so trying to take advantage, but mostly just talking about who I like over other guys, right? This is more of a rankings type thing, if anything else. If we want to do a for real startup mock draft, we'll get some more people, and we'll do this with live people. It'll be fun. But okay, hold on. Let me pause this real fast before the timer goes off. Okay, so we're looking down here. Pretty much have a full team assembled except for a tight end. I'm going to go ahead and get a guy who I liked a lot before the season. He, I think, showed out pretty well this year, and he is tied to Deshaun Watson for the next couple of years. He got his money. Deshaun Watson got his money. I think he'll be good for him. Good weapon. That is David Njoku. And I will... Oh, gosh. There we go. Okay. And Cole Kmet. Now, Cole Kmet, David Njoku, those are pretty close, on ADP. But I think Njoku's got the edge by quite a bit. And that's coming from a Bears fan. So, Evan Ingram, another guy I was looking at. But I think Njoku has the profile and the production he's shown. He's been able to do it. Okay, so I mean, why not just load up? I know we said this is super flex, but I'm just gonna keep going. Looking through these wide receivers here. Yeah, I mean, why not? You got to load up from Jameson Williams here, right? I mean, come on now. Wide receivers: Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Amon Ra, Garrett Wilson, John Dodson, George Pickens, Jameson Williams. They're just loading up on rookies. Again, this is just not realistic, but it is fun to imagine if we had this team. We don't really have very many running backs here. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't figure out what running back. Normally, this might be a trade out situation for me, but okay. 3 more rounds. Okay. Not a whole lot. Donovan White had a nice little breakout, but I don't see much with him. This is pretty much just absolutely just nothing at all here. You're hoping that, again, we had some rookie picks. We can pick some guys up, but this isn't exactly what we're looking for. It is what it is. So maybe, I don't know. Here's the deal. I'm looking at Jets running back. Here's the reason why. I love Breece Hall. I don't think he's going to be back right away. Probably week 5 or 6, but we have no idea, right? ACL is tough to come back from. He wasn't as bad as J.K. Dobbins, thankfully, but we can kind of look at J.K. and be like, how long is it going to take for Breece to get back? Might be back by the beginning of the season, but I'm not for sure. I love Breece Hall, but you know what? We are going to pick a guy who had a pretty solid section of. We're going to go Zion White. Pretty gross there, but maybe we can flip him, right? If we had him, flip him sometime really next year. See, everyone's picking 2 quarterbacks. Like, this is super flex, but they're going way later than I thought. So I guess we'll just go ahead and we'll talk about who the quarterbacks are left and who I would pick. Geno, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. I think now here's a debate I think would be interesting is who has the more secure job right now, Geno or Jared Goff? And you'd think it would be Geno, but they have 2 first-round picks. Seattle has 2 first-round picks. I don't think that the Lions are going to pick quarterback because Goff did such a good job of holding him off this year. So if we're looking at Goff or Geno Smith, I think you kind of have to go Goff because of, I think, the more secure nature. I think Seattle could pick a quarterback this year with their 2 first-rounders. Thanks to the trade they make for Russell Wilson. So I think we got to go with Goff here, which is kind of gross, but he's actually pretty solid this year. So can't complain too much about Jared Goff. Okay, in our last pick, let's just look at all here. See what kind of value pick we can find. You know what? We're going to go ahead and pretend this is tight end premium. We said this is super flex. We'll pretend this is tight end premium. And I'm only doing this because of the value and nobody else I like here. Here's a guy that I like a lot. It's Greg Dulcich. He's got some hype already, but as Dynasty Nerds founder Rich Dodson says, an overpay today is an underpay tomorrow. I think an overpay for Greg Dulcich right now will be an underpay in the long term. Now, would you make a mistake? We've looked at tight ends like Evan Ingram, in the past who have looked like bust. Even David Njoku, they had great profiles, didn't end up turning into much for a little while. Now this year's a different story, right? But paying early, for those tight ends can be a little scary. It doesn't always work. But I think that in this case, I think I will take a bet on Greg Dulcich. I think in that offense, I'm not really worried about Albert O. We'll see, but I like Dulcich a lot. So here is our draft. Let's see. Can I make this a little bigger? Okay. So you can see our roster here on the side. Again, guys, interesting just to see the ADP. If this is a real team, I think we'd be looking pretty good. And all we really need to do is trade for a running back or get one in the draft. Next time, I think we'll put in some I don't know if we'll put in kickers or not for rookie picks. I think we'll probably leave that out. But maybe we'll do one with some rookie picks just for you guys to see, because I don't know what kind of drafts you guys are in. But yeah, that's all I got in terms of this. If you guys have any questions, Dynasty questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'll be on here. We can keep going here for a couple more minutes. And if you have any more questions coming up here, I'll be glad to answer them. Hopefully, looking at this, maybe didn't answer questions in terms of startup, but helped you answer some questions in terms of player value. We talked through a couple of these guys, a couple of these wide receivers. The reason why I'm taking them over other players. Looked at Amon-Ra St. Brown, looked at Garrett Wilson over guys like Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown is continuing to be one of the best values there is in Dynasty. I'd go out and buy him. And you know what? I wonder if we can go on and see what kind of trade values there is for Hollywood Brown. I'm going to go in the Dynasty Nerds Trade Finder and see if we can't find some. I'm going to do it on the side here. We'll see what Hollywood Brown's going for right now, if the internet will cooperate with me, just so I can give you guys an idea of what Hollywood Brown is worth according to people in the Dynasty community, because right now I think he is criminally undervalued. He was before the season. I think he still is. It's hard to rank him, but I still think he's undervalued. So let me get into the trade browser and get into Marquise Brown. Can't tell you how many times that I typed in Hollywood Brown and thinking something would show up. Now, this is super flex, all right? Super flex. Okay, so we're looking here. This one was a couple days ago, January 13th. Joe Mixon for Marquise Brown at 23 third. A 23 third, is what it is. But I would do that all day. Getting rid of an aging veteran running back for a younger wide receiver who proven he can be running back or wide receiver one. Easy. I can do that all day long. This one, oh my gosh. Marquise Brown for Damian Harris, a 23-second Alec Pierce. I mean, that just has to be like, man, that someone's got something on that guy, because that is a terrible trade. I put out a video today. Every Tuesday, I put out 3 Dynasty trades. I grade them, put them on the channel, kind of go through the process of what I'm thinking when I look at Dynasty trades. And man, that one, if you're a Marquise Brown recipient there, now we don't know where the second's at. I guess it could be the 201, and it's a super flex league. So at that point, it's maybe a little closer, but still, you're pretty happy with that return if you're getting Hollywood Brown there. This one's probably a more fair one. A 24 first and a 25 second for Marquise Brown. 24 first, 25 second. Pretty far in the future. I'd rather have Brown, especially if those are late. And 25 seconds so far in the future, we just have no idea. And so we'll do one more trade here. We'll see if I can find one that makes sense. Here's another one. This happened a couple days ago. We'll do 2 more. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, for George Kittle straight up. That's just a no-brainer. I don't even know. Their championship should have been over. That I don't even understand why that was even a trade. That guy must really, really need a tight end, because that's bad. And then last one is a 23 first for Marquise Brown straight up. I'll take Marquise Brown. It depends where the 23 first is at. Now let's do a scenario here. We'll say, the super flex 12 team straight up Hollywood Brown or the 104. That's where it gets tough, right? Because if you take out super flex, you're saying Bijan, Stroud, probably Bryce Young, or flip-flop them, however you want to do that. And then you get to the point where it's like, okay, do you want Jackson with the Jigba or Hollywood Brown? I think that's going to be a tough question to answer as we get into the offseason. I think you should say Hollywood Brown, but personally, maybe I'm way too high on on Jackson with the Jigba. But Jackson with the Jigba has been so good this year that, man, not this year rather, but his sophomore year. Like I said, it's late. But he was so good his sophomore year with guys like Garrett Wilson and Olave around him. I just think If I get my hands on Jackson the Jigba this year in Dynasty rookie drafts, I'll be very happy, man. But okay, guys, that is all I got for you. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and I will continue to do these throughout the off season. Try to do them a little bit earlier than I did tonight. Maybe we can get some more people on here. But at any rate, appreciate you guys sticking around, and I will see you next time.